Hi there, today we're going to paint this lovely little abstract watercolour. I'm going to use some tin foil and we're going to use that to apply some of the watercolour paints. I've got a series of yellows and greens that I'm going to put on here. So I've crumpled up the tin foil, and I'm dabbing the paintbrush onto that tin foil and then dabbing the tin foil onto the page. And as you can see, it leaves these lovely marks on the page. So this will give sort of the imprints of the creases and folds. They will leave sort of like these lovely patterns, sort of mimicking the organic, unpredictable forms of nature. And we are also going to be using the negative painting technique, which means that we are going to paint round some leaves as opposed to painting the leaves themselves. So continuing, just adding some more colour here, a little bit of a darker, this is a bluey kind of green that I'm using here. Dabbing it onto that page, not allowing it to dry because you don't mind if the colours mix, and just continuing adding until you're happy with the background that you've got. This is really fun and easy thing to do, and it's so therapeutic adding all of this paint onto your paper with this foil. So when your paint is dry, I've got a watercolour pencil here. I'm just drawing out some leaf shapes. I'm using a watercolour pencil just because when I add the paint, when I'm doing the negative painting, the watercolour pencil will actually disappear, so you won't see the lines that I created with the pencil. If you are using it with a traditional pencil, just do it really lightly and you will be able to cover the edges of those pencil lines. Do as many or as few leaves as you want. What we are going to do, we're going to do this in 2 layers. You might want to do it in 3 layers, but this is the first layer that we are doing of the leaves. So I've finished doing that and I've grabbed the green paint and I'm painting round the shapes of the leaves. So as opposed to painting the leaves themselves, I'm painting round them, and this is what's called negative painting technique. So we're using a glaze of the watercolour paint because we are doing layers, so this colour will deepen as we go on. So just washing it over into that negative space, going round all of these leaves. At this point, your painting doesn't look like much. In fact, it looks and you think, oh, is it going to turn out all right? This doesn't look quite right. But as you build up those layers, you will start to see it appear in front of your eyes. So just keep with it. Don't worry if you're thinking this isn't working. It's just a matter of layering over this paint, and the picture builds slowly with time. So just continue outlining all of those lovely leaves there, and then you will need to let that paint dry, because what we're going to do now with the watercolour pencil is do a little bit more layering. So we are just putting some more leaves behind the leaves that we've already put. So just drawing them out, again very gently with a pencil, because we want the lines to disappear once we add the paint. And once we've finished that, we need to grab the paint, the same colour that we've used before, and start layering in between those leaves. So the positive space, this is the main subject of your painting. So in our case, it's the leaves that you want the viewer to focus on. And then the negative space is the area surrounding and in between the positive spaces. So in this example, it's all those spaces behind the leaves. And with this layering process, it just adds that sense of depth where you think all of those leaves that are in the background are actually behind those main characters that we've got with all that lovely texture on. So you can use this technique for anything that you want to paint, whether it be a flower or an object, and just keep layering on. We're actually doing 2 layers here, but you could add a third layer and it would just deepen this picture more. So then you need to let the paint dry. You can either leave it as it is, or like me, you can grab a posca pen. I've got a lovely yellow posca pen, and I thought it'd be nice to just outline these leaves just to give them a little bit more bounce off the page so they really become very vibrant, and it just really complements the composition, I think, just adding this bit of yellow here. So it really is offering a really good layering and just letting those leaves just pop off the page. So this layering, this building up of layers within a picture offers a certain richness and complexity of colour. It just makes the interaction of the colours, especially with that background that we've used with the foil, they're all sort of connected, but they're sort of bouncing off each other too, especially with that positive leaf shape with the white background on it, and then with all those foily kind of textures that we've put on there. So continuing to outline all of these leaves, remembering to outline the background leaves. You just got to remember which comes in front of the other before you're actually putting these lines in. Try not to get too confused about it. And then I've decided to outline the tape because I want a nice frame and I want it to be cohesive. So I've heated up the tape. And I'm just pulling that tape away. It's nice and sticky, all of that tape is, making sure that I don't rip the page at all. So just pulling it down, and you can see the lovely painting here. So it's turned out rather well, I think. Really good composition, and I love the layering process. And I'm just bringing it up to the camera so you can see in a little bit more detail. Let me know in the comments what you think. Was this any good? Do you think it's something you'll try? What colours would you use? I would love to hear from you. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. And maybe you'll like this if that's how you feel. So, hope to see you again soon. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Okay then, bye.